Hello everybody, welcome to another Squid Game video, even though this is like my second one, and also ignore the fan in the background, I know it's loud. If you saw my last video, you would have seen that I watched the Squid Game Season 3 teaser and broke it down the best I could, but since then I have discovered some new stuff, which I'll be going over in this video, along with what I personally think each character's fate will be in this new season, along with what I think the games are going to be and the overall storyline, you know. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So before we get into the characters' fates, I want to get into the story and what I think the story / games are going to be. Now, we know from the promo or teaser that the fourth game is going to be a team-based game, and based on what I've seen, it looks like there's going to be some kind of task, kind of like Among Us, where the people wearing blue, they have keys, they have to complete a task which will let them unlock a door. Meanwhile, the red team have to try and kill the blue team, and if the blue team cannot complete their task in time, they are killed. That's just what I think. It's probably different. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And we know from the season 2 post-credit scene that the fifth game involves those two dolls and the little traffic light. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's like monkey bars, jump rope. I personally think it's jump rope, but I also think it's that little circle game. I forgot what it's called, where you like run in a circle and the song plays, and it's basically musical chairs. It's one of those two. And we know some characters that are guaranteed to make it to this fifth game based on, promos and pictures that Netflix has officially put out, but we'll get to that later. But anyways, I do believe that season 3 is going to pick up immediately after season 2, because obviously in the teaser we can see the O's and X's lined up with blood on the floor. So that's obviously right after, which also makes me realize that if it's right after, like literally right after the rebellion, you can kind of see, I'll put a picture up on the screen, you can kind of see, you can see Gi-hun, or I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, player 456 on the right, handcuffed to the bed. So that means that they showed him in the coffin, presumably dead, and then we're just like, no, he's not actually dead in the time span of like 5 hours. Probably less than that, honestly. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know. I have no idea. But my job here is to guess. So I'm gonna guess that the reason they did that is to show them that, you know what, this is what could happen if you do another rebellion. Because, I don't know. I know they're more strict than that. It's not going to be that easy. That's probably not what it is. I have no idea. That's the most confusing part of the promo. I keep calling it a promo, but it's the teaser, you know what I mean. Now, about the storyline with the boat and them finding the island, I do believe, and just hear me out on this one, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that this season will have 6 or 7 episodes. Now, just hear me out. I do believe that little traitor guy that killed the helper person at the end of season 2 will be killed by the cop in the first 2 episodes, because there's not really much more you could do with that storyline if you've already revealed him to be a traitor. I mean, you can't really make him, help them not find the island, because they already did that in season 2, and that would just be repetitive, So I do believe that the cop will find out he's a traitor and kill him within the first 2 episodes, and I do think it will be the cop that kills him. And obviously, we know from the trailer that both Guard 11 and presumably 246, it's pretty much confirmed that person that they're scanning right here is 246. So him and Guard 11 are going to escape together and try to help everyone else escape, and they might rope in some other guards. I have no idea. And I do believe the little black, I don't know why I keep saying little, but the black mask person, like this guard with the black clothes on, I think Guard 11 is going to kill that person. It could be 246. One of those two is going to kill the black guard person. It's probably going to happen towards the end of the season, because if you look at this picture, you can see she has a little blood on her hair, which obviously means she was in a bit of a scuffle. And I do believe that scuffle was with the black guard. And I do believe Guard 11 will die in that part, but we'll get to that later. And by the end of the series, I do think that Squid Game America will be, at the very least, teased, if not shown fully. But with the general storyline out of the way, let's get into the characters. So we're going to go in numerical order, starting with, the front man, because he was technically 001. I do think because of what we saw in season 2 and how close he was with the pregnant girl, I do think that towards the end, maybe in kind of like the middle end, like episodes 4 or 5, he will start to realize, hey, I'm only doing this because my family died, but by doing this, I'm also killing other people's family. And I guess he'll start to realize that, especially because of the pregnant girl, because the pregnant girl will remind him of his wife and kid. I think there was a kid involved. I have no idea. I do think that the front man will eventually try to help the pregnant lady escape so that they can have the baby. In the process of doing that, though, I do think he will die, like while they're trying to like help each other out, you know, he will end up eventually dying. Either that or player 456 is just gonna kill him, you know, just out of revenge, because he can't really do much to redeem that character after what he's done in seasons 1 and 2. But in season 2, we are shown that he does have a more compassionate side, especially to the pregnant lady. Even if it was all an act, he looked very sincere about it. But either way, whichever scenario happens, I do believe he is gonna be dead by the end of the series. Moving on to player 007, aka the Sun. Based on all the promos, all the teasers, all the pictures, I am almost 100% certain that this character will die in the 4th game. It's not like 100%, I'm more like 80%, somewhere in that range. But, you know, after seeing what everyone's reaction was to the teaser and, you know, going over it, thinking about it all day, I've kind of leaned more to the fact that he might live. Like before I was like, there's no way he's living, but he might. And the reason is the part in the teaser where the mom is crying. Blue Panda made a good point, like why would she be crying in the waiting room rather than in the game, because they're obviously going to announce player 007 eliminated during the game, so that doesn't really make sense why she would be crying there instead of in the actual game. So maybe the Sun does survive the 4th game, and the reason her hairpin is not in her hair anymore, the knife, is because she gave it to the Sun to protect himself. So yeah, maybe she gives her knife to the Sun to protect himself against anyone that tries to attack him. And obviously the mom survives the 4th game because we can see her on the floor after the game. And we know that's after the game because before the game, or in the pictures, the promo pictures, this one, her hair's down. And that's definitely before the game. So we know probably, most likely, like 99%, the mom does survive the 4th game. The Sun, though, I have no idea. It's literally 50-50. It could go either way. And we'll just go ahead and skip to the mom while we're talking about it. The mom obviously is surviving the 4th game. The reason I think she is crying on the floor, it might be because her son is dead. That still wouldn't make sense. Like, you know, why would she be doing it in the waiting room? What I think is happening, another possibility, is that the pregnant lady had to get a C-section and her hair is down because she had to use that knife in her hair to give her the C-section, and she dies there, right there on the floor, and that's why she's crying. And that's why you can kind of see a little bit of blood on her hair. I don't know if that's blood or not, but it looks like blood. Just a little faint little droplet of blood. You got to look really closely to see it, but it's there. So it's either her son is dead or the pregnant lady is dead. One of those two. I can't see any other scenario where she would be this sad on the floor, practically on her knees, sobbing uncontrollably, besides one of those two scenarios. So that's just what I think, but you can tell me what you think down in the comments. What number is next? I am so bad at numbers, whatever. We'll just skip to 124 and 125. The Thanos sidekick and the scaredy cat. So from the teaser and the pictures that Netflix posted on Twitter yesterday, we do know that he survives the 4th game, because you can see here he is extremely bloody, blood all over his clothes, and that is definitely way more bloody than he was in this picture from the teaser. I don't even know, did he have that little mark on his forehead or his face at the end of season 2? I have no idea. But that basically confirms he makes it to the 5th game, or at least makes it past the 4th game. Now what his story will be, I read something online that said he's not going to be fully redeemed, but they're going to make us see a more compassionate side to him. I do think that's what's going to happen. He's still going to be like the villain, but I feel like he's going to be more of a secondary villain more than the like main villain, because he will be showing that more compassionate side to himself. Eventually, obviously, I do think he is going to die, probably in the 5th game or after the 5th game even. I do think he will be killed by Minsu, the player 125, the scaredy cat, which brings us to him. He also obviously survives the 4th game, because we can see in this promo picture he is definitely not wearing a blue vest there or a red vest. And if you look at the background, it's clearly the same background that we saw at the post-credit scene of season 2. So obviously that's the 5th game, because that's not a team game. So obviously he makes it to the 5th game. I'm also just going to add this in while I'm editing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did not have the O when season 2 ended. I'm pretty sure it was an X. So the fact that he has an O on his shirt right now is kind of crazy. Moving on to player 100. Now, player 100 is literally 1000% going to die this season. Whether it be in game 4, game 5, even game 6, he is going to die. Just for fan service, honestly. Everyone wants to see player 100 die. I do not think anyone wants to see him survive, ironically. So he's definitely going to die. I don't even know what you can do for his story except for him to just keep being a complete jerk to everyone and then eventually killing him. That's what I think his story is going to be. Same thing for season 2. Just carry it over to season 3, maybe a little bit more aggressive, but we'll see. I do not think they're going to try to redeem him at all. And even if they do, that's dumb because it's not going to work. Now, moving on to MG Coin and the pregnant lady, because they're kind of like a duo. MG Coin, I feel like in the 4th game, the reason he is crying there is because he has seen his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend being attacked by someone and is going to sacrifice himself to try and save her, which is why he's crying and looks just completely distraught, like, what do I do? What do I do? But eventually, in the end, he is going to sacrifice himself. I do believe that this will happen in the 4th game. So I do believe, yeah, player 333 will die in the 4th game, protecting his ex-girlfriend. Now, as for the pregnant girl, I do think she will die giving birth. Definitely not at the start of the season. Definitely towards the end, because that wouldn't really make sense for her to give birth in the middle of the season. I don't know if you consider the baby a character, but the baby will probably be, taken away because babies can't compete in Squid Game. I do feel like the baby is going to be taken to like an adoption facility and be adopted by a nice, loving family because, both of its parents are dead. But I do believe that both the pregnant lady and MG Coin are going to die in this season. More so MG Coin, I think he's going to die more. There is a possibility that the pregnant girl will survive, but it's pretty low. Like, probably I give her, 45% chance of survival. Now, moving on to the cop and the little friend of the cop that was, taken hostage in the first episode of season 2 and had to watch his boss die. Maybe they'll kill the friend because, it's the last season. You got to have a couple deaths. So maybe that friend will die. As for the cop, though, I don't think the cop is going to die. And also, I don't know why I didn't think of this as a possibility, but I do think the cop will be the one to kill the front man because they're brothers. Maybe not. Maybe they'll reconcile, I don't know. Maybe he'll die some other way, like on accident or something. That'd be pretty crazy. But I do not think the cop is going to die. I think he's going to survive. Definitely not with his brother, but if they can find a way for him and his brother to both live this series, if they can do it in a good way, I'll be fine with it. A way that doesn't make the audience absolutely mad. I did hear a rumor, this is a rumor, that the ending is not a happy ending per se, but it is a sigh of relief. What does a sigh of relief mean? I have no idea. We'll have to wait until June 27th to find out. I do think the island is going to get blown up by Guard 11 by the end of the season. Like, her and the Black Guard will get into a fight, she will win, and tell everyone else to get out, and they're all going to leave on the boat while she takes herself out with the island. I do think that's what's going to happen. Now, to player 120 and the Shaman Lady, because they're also kind of a duo. I don't know why they're put together, but they are. So for the Shaman Lady, I feel like her and her little circle of people are going to die. I just don't know how they can write a story where she lives. I do think she will be killed by player 120. We do know that they are able to switch teams because in this picture you can see MG Coin is holding a blue ball, but in this picture he has a red vest on. So clearly he switched teams. So this picture could very well be 120 versus the Shaman Lady, but player 120 looks like they're like really trying to get into it, and I just don't think the Shaman Lady would have that level of fight in her to make 120 be like that vicious, But it could be her, we don't know. I do think player 120 will kill the Shaman Lady. And as for player 120, a lot of people are thinking that she will survive because, she kind of carried the season 2 finale along with me. I also think she will survive, but in case she doesn't, we need to go over how she will die. I do think she will survive until the very last episode and then go out sacrificing herself. In what way exactly, I do not know, but I do think she will sacrifice herself because it kind of completes her story, I hope it doesn't. I hope literally the mom, son, and 120 can all live together, also the pregnant girl, but that's not going to happen. I do think if she doesn't survive, she will die in the last episode. If she does not die in the last episode and she does die and it's before the last episode, I will be very shocked. I do not think she's dying in the 4th game. That would be such a waste to her character for her to carry the entire season 2 finale just for her to die in the first 2 episodes. But Netflix is weird. They might do that. They might kill off all the characters except for player 100, player 124, all the villains. I have no idea. I do think if the pregnant lady does not die giving birth, she will survive alongside player 120, but that's just me being optimistic. But as always, theories, we will have to wait and see. There's also rumors that I'm seeing that there could be hallucinations, so they would have an excuse to bring back past characters. One theory that I've been seeing circling around is that player 124 will see a hallucination of Thanos because of the, goodies that he's taken from that cross little compartment thing that he stole off of Thanos. I think this will happen, but like not in the way people are like imagining it. Like they're thinking of like a whole resurrection, like he's in a whole scene talking to himself, but there's actually like a ghost of Thanos there. I think it'll just be like him doing like a little gesture to like let him know, what you're doing is okay. Probably something along those lines. I have no idea though. I'm not the director of Squid Game. I have no idea what they're gonna do. People are also saying that like 218 and 67 from season 1 are also gonna make an appearance. I don't think so. They technically did make an appearance on the first episode of season 2 as like those little decapitated heads. I don't think they're gonna make an appearance in season 3 because that'd just be kind of weird. Like that chapter of player 456's life is like over, and I don't know how he would be able to hallucinate that without taking those hallucinogens that are in the necklace. Now on to player 388, Daeho, the guy who forgot to do the ammo in the ending of season 2, the little PTSD guy. Yeah, that guy. Now fans are a little bit worried about him because he's just not seen in the teaser at all. Like I literally think this is the only clear shot we have of him in the entire teaser, which sadly does make me think he will be killed in the 4th game. I do think he'll sacrifice himself, but before he does die, he will get some closure from that ending from season 2 where he's all scared. He'll provide an explanation, we'll close that story, and then he'll die. But I do believe he will be killed in the 4th game. Whether that's from him not completing the task because he's too scared or just being killed by another player. We do know he is on the blue team based on this picture. So he is the one that doesn't get to defend himself. He does not get a knife. That's the red team. He gets the key. So either he doesn't complete his task in time or he gets killed. Either way, it's going to be really sad to see him go, but I do not think he's going to survive this season. Also, kind of circling back to the pregnant lady, there is like a rule in South Korea. I think that you can't kill a pregnant lady in a show, but that doesn't mean that they can't just have her give birth and then kill her. Just had to put that into the video because I feel like that's an important step in this video. Now let's talk about some new characters that could be in season 3. And you're probably wondering, Elite, there can't be any new characters unless they have a whole new storyline. You guys are acting like they can't just add a new character in to season 3 that was in season 2 kind of in the background. There is like the sidekick of the Thanos sidekick, 124, kind of next to him. That's, I think their number is like 235 or something. I feel like he's gonna get a little bit more screen time than he did in season 2 because you're probably like, who's 235? I'll try to find a picture, but I'm pretty sure it's this person next to 124 if I can find the picture. If I can't, oh well. But he's to his right if the picture that I found is accurate. I do think he will get more screen time because his actor is a pretty big actor, kind of. Like, I think he played the main character in a different South Korean show, so he'll definitely probably have some more screen time. But if we're talking about character fates, I do think he will eventually die, probably in the 4th game. There's also a theory that there's going to be like a 20-year time jump. I don't see that happening. That would just make zero sense unless it's at like the very end. But I just don't see, like, maybe it could show like the games are still going on, but that would just kind of make the entire point of season 2 and 3 useless if they just continue the games. I do think by the end of the series, player 456 will eventually end up stopping the games, whether that's just blowing up the island or stopping it from the inside, or by potentially becoming the new frontman and then stopping it. Like, he gains their trust. I don't know how he would do that, but he might. And then just kind of stops it from the inside, like I just said. And he discovers that while he did stop the South Korea games, there's games going on globally, and that will segue into Squid Game America or USA or whatever. I think we will get a glimpse of Squid Game USA in like a post-credit scene. I do think that is what's going to happen. I think there will be a post-credit scene as well in season 3, kind of teasing something new. But the Squid Game timeline, like the Squid Game universe, is definitely not gonna end with season 3. There's gonna be way more. I just don't think it's gonna be in South Korea, like set in that place. I think it will be set somewhere else in the world, but that's probably gonna be in a few years. But you know what, everything I have spoken about for the past, like, I have no idea, like 30 minutes is all just speculation and rumors. We won't know if anything I'm saying is true until June 27th when the series actually comes out on Netflix. But with that being said, that is all the stuff, theories, speculation, everything I have for you. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I'm probably gonna post more Squid Game season 3 videos because, you know what, Gotta milk that content as much as possible. I don't know, I'll probably do like a tier list video. But with that being said, I hope you have a good day, and bye. Yes, I just clapped my hands when I said that. Bye.